Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The game was released on 25th of October 2019, and the game has then since received numerous updates to improve itself and has also been one of the more popular shooters ever since. You can also see that just watching how many people are looking at it on Twitch. So I'm not going to make a documentary about the game. I'm here to on my thoughts of the game after a mild amount of like 150-ish hours. My hopes here are to give you, the viewer, some insight if it's worth buying for yourself. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And also here, just for your information, there's going to be a couple of timestamps. The timestamps are also going to be in the description. They're going to be showing you which subject I'm talking about. Campaign. So let's start with the story mode, single player campaign that Modern Warfare provides. So there will be practically no spoilers in this video, so you don't have to worry about that, just as a heads up. The campaign is set with like two main personnel, CIA SAC officer Alex and SAS Sergeant Kyle. Both of these characters, in my opinion, are very well built for the game. They also fit the COD universe very well. Alex gives you the feeling that might remind you of John Soap McTavish from the original Modern Warfare. Kyle seems like a side character, but plays really well in the with the familiar face of Captain John Price, which also makes a return in this game. Fitting, honestly, since it's a Modern Warfare remake. The game has fun gameplay, a good story, and puts the player in a situation where a terrorist group has stolen a bunch of gas that can be used as a chemical weapon, and the player's mission is, as usual, to save the world. Not too unfamiliar, as the concept of this game seems very familiar to COD 4 Modern Warfare, where Zakhaev gets access to a nuclear weapon. Now, with the general information covered, we can get right into the review. I decided to give 3 different point sets and then a total score for each of the things in the game, which is campaign, multiplayer, and like co-op. I'll get back to co-op later, but yeah. I've divided the campaign in 3 different scores and then a total score. I'll start with the atmosphere. Nice and Lando. 8 out of 10 in my opinion. It really fits the Call of Duty vibes. The only main problem that I have with it is that it's a little bit too fast forward, doesn't build enough behind it before you actually get dumped into a scenario. I'd like a little bit more story on the side characters, not necessarily like, because there's a lot of characters we don't get to know, which isn't too unfamiliar for Call of Duty, but it's still a little bit but the game also has like a lot of mature content that can be offensive to some people. You can disable this, and the game has like some surprise elements to it. That's, in my opinion, surprise elements are a good thing, and mature content can be as well, especially since they allow you to disable it. But it really makes you build like this feeling that the villain is really a douchebag. You don't like him, and you as a player is a proper protagonist. The game also has insane animations, which really weighs up the score and lifts it much higher than the 7, and I had to give it an 8. I was contemplating giving it a 9 as well, but I decided on an 8. Now let's talk about gameplay. Gameplay, I decided 7 or 9 out of 10. This rating is very dependent, because it depends on your gameplay experience. Personally, I feel it's more difficult than earlier CODs, which for me is a very positive thing. That's why I say 9 out of 10, for my opinion. It can easily be frustrating for casual players. Call of Duty luckily has smartly has the difficulty system in play that you can reduce to make the campaign much easier. My only complaint about the campaign was that it sometimes is very unclear on instructions, and you can easily die, and you can get stuck in a spot where you will die repeatedly times. This is really one of the missions where you're supposed to defend the rooftop. And this is the only information I'll give about it, but you'll defend the rooftop, and you'll get a lot of instructions that are like, you have 1 second to react, and if you mess up, you're dead. But this was on a veteran difficulty. I believe you wouldn't die instantly on a lower difficulty. For many people, it can be a positive experience to have the difficulty setting high, and a game that like allows you to have to learn what you're doing before you do it. The pros definitely outweigh the cons, and personally, I really love like one thing to be changed. I really wish they would keep the leveling system for guns and stuff like they had in Advanced Warfare. I wouldn't mind achievements as well that were more visible. I know they have achievements, but I feel like they're kind of meh. Maybe that's because I'm so used to playing on Steam, and on Steam your achievements are easily visible and stuff, so I guess that. So anywhere between 7 and 9 will be my final gameplay score for the campaign. Now fun. What y'all has been looking for, right? I personally had an extremely like nice time playing the campaign. I had a lot of fun. So the collective score of the campaign is going to be an 8 out of 10, like for fun. Mainly since video game are designed like this video game is designed to be fun and entertaining, and it's somewhat difficult while still having a good diversity of what you can do. The story gives you, as said earlier, a good round-out experience. I think this is one of the better games, which, in my opinion, then campaign-wise gets a total score of 8.5. Because I have to bump it up a little bit, as I personally think fun could be bumped up to a 9, and as well gameplay is a 9 to 10. Like, and 9 out of 10, I mean. Which means the most for me. Right, so let's hop into multiplayer. Footage in the background is going to be me when I'm, because I've been streaming this game a lot, and I absolutely fucking love this game. I haven't had this much fun in a Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2, and that's the game that made me fall in love with first-person shooter games, so here we are. The game is a fast-paced shooter that often rewards aggressive plays, has a lot of pros in the empowerment feeling for the player once the match starts rolling in their favor, as in, once you start getting kills, it feels hella fun. So, let's talk a little bit about atmosphere. The atmosphere feels exactly like it should. It's a Call of Duty game where you have like a strong and maybe borderline broken weapon arsenal, you have a good amount of movement, kill streaks are very empowering. In general, like the atmosphere that you get for playing it feels very nice. The maps are cool designed, and like they're not too difficult to learn at the same time as they are fun. Gameplay wise, fun and gameplay will go into the same one here, because they're both 9 out of 10. The same goes with atmosphere, they're all 9 out of 10 in my opinion. I'll just cover fun, because it explains also what I think about the gameplay. So in general, like, it's the most fun I've had in a long time playing an FPS game. It's only got 2 flaws in my opinion. There's very little strategy involved in this game. Most of it comes down to pure aim, which can be a positive factor for some players, but the main problem is that it feels like it has a weird skill ceiling. It's high and low at the same time. Sort of fixed with cyber attack game modes and stuff, but it feels like I don't improve much more than my aim does in this game, which is sort of a slight issue. Number 2 is the game does not have a rank game mode. This can for some people be nonchalant, it doesn't matter, but for me it matters. Personally, I love ranked modes. It's fun to get like friends around, get in a lobby, have like a blast of a time, just getting better at the game, learning the game, playing versus equally skilled players, because right now it's, with no proper matchmaking, it's random who I go up against. So I can go up against someone like Shroud or someone like my younger sibling, or like it's all over the place. And that can be very frustrating, because I really like to expect what I go into, which is something that I like. That's my main complaint, really. It would be fun if they had like a fair rule set we can play under, like locked guns, stuff like that. Which brings me back to one of the reasons that I really rate this multiplayer high, the 2v2 game mode Gunfight. So if you don't know what Gunfight is a 2v2 game mode where all 4 players get the same weapon choice. So you either get like an LMG and an SMG, an LMG or an like sidearm, whatever. You get the same weapons as your opponents, and then you are first person to kill each other, and you don't regenerate health. Which is important, because that allows you to have to play around your teammate a lot, which is super fun. I absolutely love it. Now, I want to say one other thing that's like a little bit of a con, which is the multiplayer has a good variety of guns which are viable, but every gun feels like it has a advantage and disadvantage, which is good. But actually, let's keep that. So into the last part of the multiplayer portion that I will talk about is you have a good variety of guns that are viable, which is fantastic. Every gun offers an advantage and a disadvantage. This is something that I really can get behind. Another thing that I actually like a lot about this game is that with attachments, you can literally make any gun almost to whatever you want. You can make the revolver into a handheld sniper. You can make your shotgun into a sniper. Your sniper into... wait. Well, you get the point. So, weapons are fairly balanced, which is a huge thing when you have a fast-paced shooter, and I feel like control... Also, one last thing, cross-platform is a hero in this game. Being able to play with friends on other consoles and shit is like hella nice. That should be like mandatory for every game coming forward. I hope COD set the standard here on exactly that, because that is so nice. So that brings the multiplayer up to a total score of 9 out of 10, potentially going up to 9.2 or something. I don't want to put it any higher than that because it has flaws, and I really, really miss a ranked mode. I will go into the last part, which is the co-op version. Alright, so we'll get into the final aspect of the game, which is the co-op / survival mode in this game. So I'll dive a little bit less into co-op, simply for the reason that I haven't played it enough, give it like a proper rating. And there's also another aspect that is really frustrating to me, which is going to actually drop it down a lot on rating. Co-op is fun as hell. It's a good game mode where you play against like stories that are similar to the stories that you get in the campaign, and you'll have objectives that you will have to complete with your friends. They also have a stealth mission, which absolutely is something that I get behind. I love stealth missions in shooters. Now, here's the problem. We also have a thing called survival mode, but I play the game on PC, and PC and Xbox players do not get access to survival mode before late 2020, like October-ish. This is super annoying because it only allows me to have half the knowledge, so I can't really give a fair review of co-op. And it's also frustrating that I got behind the waiting wall, if you get me. So, but yeah, normal co-op I'd give a 6 out of 10, basically because the only cons that are in the game for it is it's very annoying to do solo experience, as it's almost impossible. Solo co-op missions are only available in private match. Special ops are not even available in private matches, which is a huge bummer. There's no reason to have this locked, just make it possible to play without rewards. But I'll also give it up a little bit of a notch because you get rewards for this that apply to the multiplayer, which is good. I really like that. I want a reason to play co-op, and that helps me get that. So when I played co-op, I had a fun time. As I said, the missions were hard. You had to think and plan to succeed. We had to lose several times to actually get it. Like, to complete the first mission, me and a friend of mine had to, because we do it when it's a 4-man mission, but we had to play it probably like 6 or 7 times in order to nail it, which was fun because it really like made us have to learn what to do and communicate, which is important. Now, the survival game mode comes out late 2020, and I'll probably be updating something about that when that comes out, because that's something that I've been really looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Call of Duty Zombies and stuff, and Modern Warfare 3's survival mode was so fun for me. So, without further ado, I give it a 6 to 7. Out of 10, because it is fun. It's just very difficult to give a fair review when I only have half of the content. So total score, this game goes up to a 8.5. I'll be summarizing pros and cons basically here real fast. So pros, it's a fast-paced, fun, good gun choices, fairly balanced, good campaign, 2v2 game mode that can be a blast multiplayer game, right? And the only cons here are really the content lock for survival for everybody but PlayStation users, which is, in my opinion, stupid, but might be something I'm not getting. Might be a deal they have with PlayStation, so I'm sorry if that is something they can't do anything about, but it's just unfortunate for us PC and Xbox players. It's also a AAA priced title, which can be a little bit expensive, but it is Call of Duty. It offers up to the price. There's nothing you can say about that. And it's also, the last con is that it's Call of Duty, so it's very likely that you will have to buy a new one when the next one comes out. Ratings will be like campaign on 8 out of 10, multiplayer 9 out of 10, co-op around 6 or 8 based on the limited playing and no solo really options really. So here comes the final part. Should you buy it? My opinion, yes. It's a fun game, more fun with friends, enjoyable solo. A 2v2 game mode, and if you just have one friend available to play the game, it's super fun. It's fast-paced, it's short matches, it allows you to play whenever you have like a little bit of space to do something in between stuff. In my opinion, it's one of the better Call of Duties, and I really, really enjoy it. Alright, so now that we've covered that, I'll be making a highlight reel for the Modern Warfare game in the future, so stay tuned for that, and until next time, have a good one and stay safe. Love from G.